I don't know how many months since my last podcast. I could have taken a look at that before I started recording, but I didn't. If I'm just gonna like guess, 6 months, 7 months, something like that. And if you're here watching this, bless your little cotton socks for just like hanging on and waiting for me to come back. I'm sure you were just like whiling away the time, crying to yourself every night, just when will Kelly be back? Hopefully that's not the case. I don't have a great excuse. I wasn't knitting for a while. That's a pretty good excuse. I wasn't knitting for a while. Kind of burnt myself out from excessive knitting last summer, fall, winter. So that was definitely at least a part of it. And then maybe laziness. Definitely laziness. Editing this has always taken a long time. Editing and uploading takes a really long time. So that was definitely at least a part of it. So anyway, I apologize. Thank you for those of you who are still here watching. You're the best. In however long it's been since I last recorded, I've had a couple life changes. I am in a new apartment. There's this weird mismatching paint thing on the roof above me that I didn't notice until I set up my camera. It's because I'm in a new place, which I like a lot. We moved into Philadelphia, a city I've almost always lived near, but never in. So here I am in the city. I'm concerned that my hair is on my microphone. My fiance gave me this microphone as a Christmas present, and I never used it. So maybe at least 8 months since I recorded last. I don't even know. And speaking of which, I have a fiance now. Look at this cheeky little mug that one of his cousins gave me. Thank you, Erica, if you ever see this. So yeah, that happened. It's super exciting, which is making me realize my ring is all crooked. We are not getting married anytime soon. He's a student, and we're waiting until after he graduates, so it'll be about 2 years from now. But very exciting stuff. And yeah, those are my major life updates. Again, sorry I wasn't recording. I'm the worst person. Speaking of the worst person, let's get right into whips, huh? So here's what's on my needles right now. Okay, here's why I'm the worst. I started this project, well, it's got a bit of a legacy. First of all, I got this amazing knitting tote for Christmas. Look at how huge it is. It's the hugest, but oof. Okay, it can hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It can hold a dozen balls of yarn, which is amazing. Okay, I've got more than one project shoved in here, but here we go. So the saga of this project. My grandmother messaged me and said, Kelly, I saw this on Craftsy. If you buy this pattern kit, you get a free skein of yarn. Will you make the sweater for me? It was a kit for a sweater. And I was like, of course, Grandma. Anything for you. Turns out I did not like that pattern at all. It was a sweater worked flat and then seamed together. I apparently won't do that, is what I've learned about myself. You think having to work 2 socks or 2 sleeves is bad? Wait until you have to work a separate front and back and then put them together. No. Apparently I'm constitutionally unfit for that. So that was in January, and I was dreading starting the thing, and started it and hated it and just let it die and felt guilty for months. And finally, I think in April, I said to my grandma, look, Grandma, I'm never going to make that sweater. I'm a terrible person, but I have the yarn and I know sort of what you want. Here's 3 different patterns that I would knit that are similar. Pick one you like. So in May, I finally cast this on. The name of the pattern is, gotta get back to the front page, it's a lot of pages, Sunshine Coast, and it's by Heidi Kiermaier. Apologies for any and all mispronunciations, as always. So it's a 3/4 length raglan top. It has these fun increases and decreases on the side, so you may not be able to see from that picture, but I think you can from, I know there's another picture somewhere. Oh, well, here's a schematic of it. This is just measurements, so I don't mind showing you that. It gets larger as you work from top to bottom, and then it's kind of like a billowy sort of hem, if that's the right word. So I keep getting distracted from this project. This is like the project that was like doomed from the start, but I am finally getting close to the end. I am in fact on the second sleeve out of 2. Here we are. So I love this line of decreases that goes all the way down, well, increases, sorry, and it becomes wider, and then it's got kind of the rolled hem. Now, something I'm hating about this is I weave, past tense of weave, in the ends, and they're, like, you can see it on the other side. Let's see if I can flash that better. There we go. Yeah, you see how uneven that is? I gotta figure out how to knot with that. Kind of stinks. But I'm on the second sleeve. So here's one complete sleeve, and here's one maybe halfway done sleeve. Cool thing I'm gonna point out, I'm working this sleeve on 2 circular needles, which is a skill I taught myself today, just for fun. Normally I would do something like this on double pointed needles. Thought I'd give the 2 circ method a try, just to see if I liked it better. Partially motivated because the DPNs I was using, the correct size, the only pair that I had, or pair set that I had, was in aluminum, and I really hate aluminum double pointed needles, so felt motivated to switch needles. And yeah, I'm loving it. I've been zipping along with it. There's not really a trick to it. The stitches that are on the one needle stay on the one needle, and that's just the way it goes. It's simpler than magic loop, which I also taught myself, and wasn't that difficult. It was just like kind of fiddly. I feel like having to constantly readjust the loops is kind of time consuming, but this 2 circulars, you don't have any of that. So really loving this method, and that's probably how I'm going to do sleeves, at least from now on. You don't have to worry about the stitches falling off because, I mean, look at how much needle I've got to work with. It's really pretty great. Into it. So anyway, this is the whip that never ends. Yes, it goes on and on, my friends. But it's really close. You can see the length difference between the 2 sleeves. So I'm really determined to try to have this done before, like, today's September the 9th. I was looking at a calendar up there, sorry. Let's say before, God, I have so little left to do. Before the end of the month. It'll be done before the end of the month. That's my promise to my grandma. Broken a lot of those promises already. Anyway, something else I've been working on is, love this Tote Hollow bag. Oh yeah, my grandma found this bag very funny. Anyway, by Pickle Knits, aka Stephanie Lotfen, sorry, again, all mispronunciations, never intentional, I'm just bad at names. There we go. This is the Escalation shawl. This was recently published. Okay, it's a big boy. So, it is a bias triangle shawl, worked primarily in garter stitch. And so I saw her sample, fell in love with it, immediately knew I wanted to knit it, and she was doing an Instagram knit along. And I thought, oh my gosh, I want to participate. This is going to be so much fun. And then I completely froze. I shopped my stash probably 4 times looking for a color combination that I liked. absolutely could not get there on my own, finally decided, okay, time to go shopping for new colors for this shawl. And that motivated me to check out Hidden River Yarns, which is a local yarn shop in Manayunk, which is a neighborhood of Philadelphia. And I wandered in on a Thursday, which is their knit night, and I perused everything they had and I pet all the pretty yarns, and I just still could not, for the life of me, pick colors for this shawl. I was just frozen, just couldn't do it. And Lisa, the lovely shop owner, took me gently into her guidance under her wings and helped me pick out these gorgeous colors. And she started off with this gorgeous, so all of these colors actually are Madeline Tosh, Tosh Light, and she started off with this gorgeous shade, which is called something. It's on my project page on Ravelry. I think it's called like 11-0 or something. Sorry guys, I'm really failing you on this. But anyway, it's a cream with lots of speckles. So let's see how well I can show these off to you. So you can see there's sort of some mauvey colors in there. And then there's blues and blacks. There's little speckles of greens and browns. And we paired it with this blue, which is called my favorite pair or favorite pair. And then this brown shade, which I also forget what the color is called. And then I'm about to get to this section for the first time. Is it my next stripe? What have I done? Okay, yes, so I've done a blue stripe and a brown stripe, and my next stripe is going to be this. And I'm so excited. Seriously, y'all. Doot, doot, boop. I mean, I have my shawl pinned over my microphone. I'm so excited. I wouldn't have thought of this. This was all Lisa, the owner of Hidden River Yarns. She was like, this is your pop of color. And I was like, oh my God, you are the most correct anyone has ever been. So that will be coming very soon in this shawl, and I'm really excited about it. I was focusing on this pretty heavily for a while because of the knit along. I was not able to finish in time to be eligible for the grand prize, but I did win a pretty awesome prize. Okay, sorry, there's going to be weird editing there. I know it now. I was talking about my escalation shawl and how there was an Instagram knit along, and what Stephanie was doing was having you post a whip picture for each week of the knit along. It was 4 weeks, and she was choosing randomly from random number generator a prize for each week of the cowl, 1, 2, 3, and then a grand prize on the 4th week. And because it's the escalation shawl, the prizes escalated, and I won on week 3, which was the best I was going to be able to do given that I didn't finish on time. So I got this package of goodies in the mail and just about cried. Look at how gorgeous these are. Okay, so there's this lovely skein from Barren Wool in their Barefoot sock base, which is 80% virgin wool merino extra fine, 20% polyamide, which that's nylon, right? Is there some difference? Anyway, and this shade is called Fresh. So let's do the oohing and ahhing. Okay, so we've got teals, some like light cyan-y kind of colors, some pops of dark blue, some like greenish yellows. Here we go. Try to let that balance out a little bit. Little splashes of pink here and there. Some little pink speckles in there. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. I don't have plans for it yet. Totally gorgeous. And then there is, oh, you guys. This is my very first skein ever of a Lolo Did It yarn. Exhilarating. Exhilarating. It's gorgeous. It is on her awesome sock base, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. Obviously all the Lolo yarns are hand dyed by Lolo. And this one is actually from one of her Yarn of the Month clubs, February of 2016. So spoilers, I guess. I mean, it's been a little bit, guys. Sorry if I spoiled it for you or something. But it's called The Breakfast Club, and oh my God, I mean, so 80s. What a perfect name. I love all this gray going into all this purple, then the pinks with the pops of yellow. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Look at that. Blues, yellows, yes. And it's so soft, you guys. So gorgeous. It like something this gorgeous, it feels like almost criminal to make socks out of, because it's like you won't be able to see them most of the time. You know what I mean? Like, it might need to be a shawl for that reason. And then, the last skein that I got was from the Suburban Stitcher on her sock base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and this is called Color Wars. And this one might be my favorite, even though I'm like not much of one for wearing like yellows or like neons or whatever. This is gorgeous. Look at all these blues and reds and purple shades. It's on this like very nice like creamy kind of base, which is blowing out here. That's a bummer. And then, I mean, just look at how the green and the purple magenta-y come together. It is, it's so pretty, you guys. So theoretically, all three could maybe play nicely together. I would have a little bit of fear of that, but oh, so pretty, so pretty. I love them. Anyway, so that was my prize. Super excited about it. Can't wait to use it. Don't have plans for it yet. It's whatever I do with them is going to be amazing. And I dug up my second skein of my base for my shawl so that I could find the correct name, and it's called 11 Light, which I was really close earlier. But look at how gorgeous this is in the skein. Just all these like delicate speckles. I love it. Love it. I was thinking, what am I going to do with all these leftovers? And I thought, well, I'll make socks. But this is a single ply, which I would be concerned about felting. So maybe not that. Might be another shawl. Might be a hat. I don't know. We'll get there. I love it. It smells like hand-dyed yarn. And then the other projects I've been working on, they're not really projects per se, but I've been making a lot of little mini socks using the Tin Can Knits Rye pattern, which if you don't already know it, you absolutely should. They're free. It's a free pattern is what I mean to say, from Tin Can Knits, whom, as you guys probably know, are my favorite. I am wearing one of their sweater patterns now. This was a test knit for them. They ended up releasing it under the name Bowline. I always think of it as Guernsey, which is what they called it before they named it. But anyway, I've been knitting a bunch of tiny little socks. So this is Rye in the smallest size. And I've been knitting these little mini socks out of truly ancient stash yarn. This is, I want to say Karen's Super Saver that I bought probably from Walmart, probably when I was 15. I've been going through some of that horrendously old stash yarn and making little mini socks out of it. So this one's in blues and purples. And then this one is in some Christmas yarn. Oh, look at this gold just like sticking out. Ugh. Okay, that's gone now. And my reason for making these is that I'm going to be teaching a workshop on knitting socks at the upcoming Lehigh Valley Fiber Festival, which is so exciting for me. I've never taught a workshop before. This is actually only the second time that this festival has happened. Last year was the first one. It was successful, so they moved to a bigger venue for the second one. They're expecting about 5,000 people, which is exciting. And I'm going to teach a workshop titled My First Sock, where I'll cover the basics of sock knitting, which will include turning a heel, working some short rows, not super complicated short rows, but short rows, picking up stitches to work the gusset and foot, all of that sort of stuff that it gets covered in the rye pattern. So I'm going to be using the rye pattern for this class because the Tin Can Knits ladies are wonderful and they let you use their free patterns for those kinds of purposes. So I'm really excited. I'm going to have my participants knit a little mini sock. So we're going to just do the smallest size of rye during the class. So I'm working on knitting up a bunch of these. I'm hoping to put some of them on my Christmas tree, like this one. And some of them I want to hang up on a garland, and I'm going to be taking some pictures of all these little socks to help promote my class for the festival. But they're really cute, and I've timed myself and I can knit one in 2.5 hours, and that includes things like bathroom breaks and like getting up and making a cup of tea. So feeling pretty good about that. Today and yesterday I made this. Now, there's a warning here. This is an abomination. This should not exist. But here it is. This is the anatomy of a sock. So I decided I wanted to make up a sample sock for the class, which showed all the different parts of a sock in different colors, so that I could more easily identify them and explain what makes up a sock. And thus this was born. So this is still the rye pattern. You see the garter panel in the front. I did it in the largest size. I also, for none of these have I done like a gauge swatch or anything. I feel like my gauge is running pretty large on these. Michael tried this on and it did fit him, and he has something like size 12 feet. So this is like comically large. But yeah, I did every section of the sock in a different color. Again, this is like all my old stash yarn from like the early 2000s that I was going to donate. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to use my really nice yarn on this anatomy of a sock. So here we are, 100% acrylic worsted weight, probably mostly, again, Karen Super Saver or something related. I can't stop laughing at how ugly it is, you guys. But it'll serve its purpose in the world. I can't, like, it's larger than my sock blocker. It's like, just look how baggy it is. Okay. So I did the cuff in this tan color. The green is just the leg, which, as you guys know or may not know, with sock knitting, you can basically make this part however long you want it to be. And then I did the heel flap in this light purple and the heel turn in this darker purple. So the rye pattern is a heel flap and gusset construction. So heel flap and then the heel turn, and then I did the gusset in red, which again, the color is kind of blowing out here. Let's see. Whoop, whoop. That's a little bit better. And you can see the decrease panel here. And then I did the foot in black. I probably should have made the foot a little bit longer in keeping with like the pattern's instructions, but I was like, no, this needs to end. And then I did the toe in white. And again, you can see the panel of decreases if this stops blowing out. There we go. The decreasing section. So this is just going to be a teaching tool and something funny to have on display around my house after that. God, this thing is, I'm sorry, it's fugly. There's no other word for it. I posted a picture of it on my Instagram today as my first plug for my workshop, and some of my family members are like, no, it's nice. I'm like, it's not nice. You don't need to make me feel better. I didn't like plan on it trying to make it look good. The point was to just highlight in different colors, and so I picked 7 that I just happened to have. It's I apologize to Emily and Alexa, the wonderful designers of this pattern. This is not what you wanted to have happen with it. I apologize for this crime against humanity in the form of neon green. That's really the worst part, right? Like, if it wasn't neon green for like the longest part, it wouldn't be quite so awful, but it's pretty awful. Anyway, the anatomy of a sock. See if we can get that trending. Hashtag anatomy of a sock. I have not put that hashtag up yet on anything. And then these little guys, I'm happy with these. Although, again, cheapo acrylic yarn, these things can basically stand up on their own. Let's see, hold on, I got a little ledge right here. Boop. Okay, it's not gonna do it now. Anyway, I got it too earlier and I was like, ugh. Anyway, acrylic yarn is fine, you guys, but it can also make a sock that can stand up on its own. Just saying. And that's really it in terms of my whips at the moment. Things I'm looking forward to are knitting with my prize yarn. I'm really looking forward to my workshop at the Lehigh Valley Fiber Festival, which that is taking place on September 29th, and September 30th is the festival. My workshop is going to be on the 29th from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. So if you are local to Pennsylvania area, then you should go. It's going to be really cool. The festival itself is free and the parking is free. My workshop is not free, but there's lots of free activities taking place. It's going to be really neat, and they are expecting about 5,000 attendees, so that's really neat. And you should try to support this festival since it's still a little baby festival. Excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of my tea. It's been a while since I've done this. I feel like I'm just talking on and on and on, and no one ever interrupts. You guys are the best. Oh, and you can see behind me, I made a wall. No, I didn't make a wall. The wall was already there. I organized all of my circular needles on this wall behind me. You might not be able to see from here, but I used binder clips. I still have a couple spares over here. These little clippy doodads. And I've just got them hanging from thumbtacks on the wall, and they're just holding up circular needles that are all the same size, starting with size 2 back there, and they're just all grouped together. I totally stole this idea from Bristol Ivy's Instagram, that's the one. She posted a picture that she's got a similar system, although she's got little tags labeling them all, and I don't. They're just there. But so long as I remember that they start at 2 and then count over, I'm good. But maybe I'll make little labels for them at some point. But that was a next to free solution for hanging up all my needles, so you guys should do that if you struggle with me to keep, like me, to keep them organized. Struggling with me. Not anymore, I'm not struggling anymore. I finally have a good system now that I've got that going on. And what else am I looking forward to? Rhinebeck. We're not very far away from Rhinebeck, you guys. It's September the 9th, so we're something like 6 weeks away. Michael is going to go with me this year, which is going to be pretty funny. I'm sure he's going to be like, why am I here? But I sold him on it. I said that we could meet some sheep and alpacas and look at cool fiber art. All these things are true. I also told him about the cider donuts, which are amazing. So I'm not sure that he's prepared for how much petting of yarn I'm going to want to do, but he'll have fun anyway. I told him we might go hiking. And we might, you know, we might. Rhinebeck will definitely be a good time. I'm hoping we get some sweater weather this year. Last year it was just entirely too warm. I did try to wear this sweater there last year and ended up having to take it off because it was just too warm. In other Kelly knitting news, I've been teaching my friend and coworker Caitlin how to knit socks, and hi Caitlin if you watch this. It's been so much fun. She told me that she knew the basics of knitting, which I took to mean she knew how to knit and purl. I was not right. She knew the knit stitch, but I got her started on the rye pattern at a local knit night this past Tuesday. So my closest knit night is the 3rd Street Ravelers. We meet at a coffee shop in Northern Liberties, a neighborhood of Philadelphia, every Tuesday. And I've been there twice now. The ladies there are all very warm and welcoming. Hi guys, if you happen to see this. And I told Caitlin, come on out, I'm going to teach you how to do this. And she came prepared. I told her to get some worsted weight yarn, size 3 and 5 double pointed needles, and I would make all the rest happen. And so I started with teaching her the long tail cast on, which was an undertaking. I remember when I learned how to do that, it took me so long for it to click, just so long. And then every time I tried to do it thereafter, for like years, I would have to look up how to do it every time. It wasn't finally like built into my muscle memory probably until like a year ago or something. But she managed to get it in one night. I'm very proud of her. And then I was like, okay, so we've cast on all our stitches. Now we're going to work in knit one, purl one, rib. And it turns out Caitlin doesn't know how to purl. So we got her there. It was also her first time knitting in the round, obviously. And I think starting on double pointed needles is much harder than using just circular needles. But she was getting the hang of it. I think I got her through 2 rounds before the end of the night. Very happy for her. And then I lent her my copy of the Stitch and Bitch Handbook, which was published probably in the year 2001, something like that. So my copy is very beaten up. I've had it for however long it's been out. Basically, my grandma gave it to me a million years ago. And it's got this huge water stain on the cover. Like I've beaten that thing up. But I lent that to her because I think it has a really good set of tutorials in the book, like good illustrations of how to do things and good explanations. So I lent that to her so she can practice the knitting and the purling and such before I try to get her onto anything harder, like turning the heel. Poor Caitlin, she's gonna hate me by the time this is done. She keeps saying I'm so patient, and I'm like, oh no, you're so patient. But all the ladies at Knit Night were very proud of Caitlin for mastering purling and the long tail cast on and working on double pointed needles in the round. It's a lot of things to master in one night. She did a really good job, so keep going, Caitlin. Oh, and speaking of Rhinebeck, I have already finished my Rhinebeck sweater for this year, and I'd love to talk to you guys about it, but I'm not allowed to yet. I did another test knit for the Tin Can Knits ladies, and I gotta wait for the pattern to get published before I can like post pictures or talk about it on a podcast. So I'll do it eventually, I promise. They gotta get published first. But the pattern is so awesome, and the finished sweater is really good, and I cannot wait to wear it. Oh, you guys, I really wish I could be talking about it, but I can't. So this is me not talking about it. Right? Right. And I think that's all the news that I have for you guys. All my updates. Grandma, if you're watching this, your sweater is coming, I promise. And everyone else, thank you for tuning in. It's really nice of you guys to listen to me blather very aimlessly with almost no direction, no smooth transitions, going in and out of whatever order comes to me. Oh, you guys, this is going to take me so long to edit because I did such a bad job. Maybe next time I'll write some notes ahead of time, follow those, go in order, have coherent, cohesive thoughts, make fewer mistakes. Oh well, next time. I'll do better next time. Speaking of next time, I don't know when that's going to be, but I will try to update again soon. I will definitely make an update when the sweater for my grandma is done. That'll be a newsworthy occasion. That'll be some front page news right there. Local woman finishes sweater after 90 years. And I'll show you guys my finished escalation shawl once that's done, and let you know what's going to go onto my needles next once I'm done with those two. I'm not totally decided yet, but I've got some ideas percolating. Still haven't made anything from Bristol Ivy's Knitting Outside the Box, which is my favorite knitting book of all time, and I just haven't done it yet. And oh my god, My fiance got me a gift card to Hidden River Yarns for our anniversary, which just passed, and so I have money for buying yarn, and I don't have to feel bad about it because it's a gift card. Yay! Anyway, I'm really bad at ending this because I just like brought up 6 topics. Anyway, you guys, thank you for watching. I miss you guys, and I promise I'll be back.